Hello, welcome back to Speedaddixxgarage. If you're new to the channel, first of all, thank you for stopping by. Second of all, you might want to hit the subscribe button, especially if you like turbos, fabrication, and a funny black guy. On this episode, we are about to start another fabrication project. This one is going to involve stainless, no aluminum, all TIG welding, and I'm pretty pumped about this one. So without further ado, let me introduce to you the next project. Not my project, somebody else's project. Yeah, you see it. We are working on an MR2. If you don't know much about MR2s, it's the same story. In the early 90s, daggone, the import scene was popping, okay? Toyota happened to make a very popping vehicle, one of those being called the MR2. Okay, this vehicle is what they call an MR, mid-engine rear-wheel drive. That means that the engine is back here and it's not up here. This car is super duper small, and with the motor being in the back, that means all the weight is in the back. With it being rear-wheel drive, that means that this car is absolute monster on the street due to the grip and the weight in the back. This particular MR2 is kind of special, and let me show you why. Yeah, look what's in the back. Check that out. We have a Honda motor in the back of a Toyota chassis. I don't know much about this engine combination other than I believe it's a K20. Not sure what intake manifold we have on it. Looks like it has a custom accessory kit, a custom throttle body. It does have some motor mounts. Look like this motor mount kit come from a company by the name of Toyonda. What an interesting name. And what we're doing on this vehicle is we're making a custom exhaust. So to start off with, we're going to start with a factory exhaust manifold. I know some of y'all like, why didn't you get the Toyota, Honda one or whatever? Why didn't you get an aftermarket one? Hey, this is the customer's car and I'm gonna do what the customer wants. So either way, we're making a dual exhaust. So to start off with, as you can tell, the car kind of almost has a dual exhaust. It comes in one spot, loops around. I guess it does this little thing inside of these chambers, and it comes out driver's side and the passenger side. This is also what the bottom of the header looks like. It's got a divider in it. And make a long story short, I think we're gonna try to snake it in between this section here. This bottom section is the frame, and that little bitty bar right there is the sway bar. And then we're gonna wire it off, and it's gonna be two mufflers, dual exhaust coming out. So without further ado, let's go over the materials we're gonna use to make this happen or get the job done. Starting at the exhaust manifold, we have a 2-bolt flange. This is a 2-bolt flange, 3-inch outer diameter, because we are making a 3-inch dual exhaust. We got a 90 that's gonna come down. We may or may not need a few more bends to kind of snake it and move it like we want. Of course, being the exhaust, we're gonna need a flex section. I like to use flex bellows. They just look nice and they're stainless, and I think they're low as far as a failure point. Of course, we're gonna need a V-band somewhere in this system. We got two 90s that we're going to cut like so, weld them together, and that's gonna wire out. One side is gonna go to one muffler, other side is gonna go to the other mufflers. These mufflers of choice is made from a company called SPP, AKA Squirrely Performance or Squirrely. I may put some links and stuff in the bottom of this video so that you guys can know where to get this stuff. But we chose these mufflers based on packaging and based on looks. All these turbocharged mufflers or these straight flow through mufflers, that was making a lot of noise. All these mufflers like this, man, they all the same, dude. I mean, you look inside, they all in perforated, they all got the same little daggone little holes through it. As you can tell, it's a straight through design. So the sound, in my opinion, the sound quality comes from the size of this thing and the length. In my opinion, they all probably sound about the same. Then of course, we got a 90 coming off as the exit, and then we got another 90 coming off as the exit. If he wants, he can put tips on this. He can really do whatever he wants, but this is how we're gonna do it. And then after this, he can do what he wants. Of course, we can't have any exhaust without an O2 sensor. The car is gonna need to be tuned. My boy Zach is gonna tune it. He's gonna do basically a street tune because as you can tell, there ain't too many modifications to this car other than the throttle body, maybe the intake manifold, and of course the Speedaddixxgarage exhaust. But we are gonna make this thing happen. One thing I'm kind of excited about, I've never taken 290s, cut them the way they need to be cut, and weld them together to make a Y. So that's gonna be interesting. But be honest with you, I'm pumped on doing this, and I hope you guys are too. So let's get started with the fabrication. To start this party off, we got to bolt the flange to the exhaust manifold. I've already had to source some bolts. It is an M8 by 1.25. And one of these bolts ain't going into one of the holes due to it being the exhaust manifold and kind of rusty. So I'm gonna run this tap through it, and that way we can get this party started. You hear that? Muffler trash. All right, Speed Addicts, the next day has passed. Happy belated Father's Day to everybody that is a father that watches this channel. That's what I was doing, was spending time with my family yesterday afternoon. So yeah, I was spending time with my family yesterday afternoon, so that cut the MR2 project short. But let me show you where we're at or what we've gotten done so far. I have made, I wanna say 5 pies, basically 3-inch pie cuts. I think I want to make one more just to get the transition that I want. And then I also off camera went ahead and cut half of this 3-inch 90. Because remember, we got to join 2 90s together to make a Y. And I wanted to get this done off camera to kind of get an idea before I show y'all my approach. But now I'm ready to show y'all my approach. First thing I did, I took this table and I adjusted the legs on it to get the table level. There we go. Verify the table is level. I know my pipe is 3 inches. Half of 3 inches, 1.5 inches. I set this thing up at 1.5 inches. Basically put it on the flat surface. And then I marked 3 inches there, or 1.5 inches there. 1.5 inches there. Transfer this mark right here. Then what I did is I got this hole over here, but I think I may cut like a little slit right here because I think it'll be easier. Yeah, matter of fact, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and cut a little slit out right here. And I'll show you why I'm cutting a slit out when I'm done cutting a slit out. So I got my little slit cut out on the table, and the slit is for this right here. So we already know from outside, basically outside to middle is 1.5 inches either way. We know that our table is level. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slide this in here. I'm gonna butt this back half up against this section, meaning that all I gotta do is measure out 1.5 inches. There's my 1.5 inches. Rotate it, do the same thing. Got that mark. Now all I gotta do is draw a line to connect the dots. Now what I do is try to eyeball that line, double, triple check my measurements, and then what I do after this, put it in the vise, and I finesse this to make a cut. Remember, this side we're trashing, so I want to cut to the right of that line, and then when I go in the belt sander is going to take off enough material, and then between the belt sander and button this up with the other one, we can massage it to get it to be exactly what we want it to be. Let's cut it. thing we gotta do to this Y is figure out how much we need to cut off of here and cut off each of those legs. All right, so that's my piping configuration so far, coming from the 2-bolt flange to basically a little bit past the rear subframe and the rear sway bar. As you can tell, I'm purging it right now. Give it probably about 2 minutes or so, start welding it. All right, Speed Addicts, this is the Monday after Streetcar Takeover 2022 out of Charlotte, and we are back on the MR2. This is where we're at so far. I got the flange welded. I got the piping right here in between the lower rear frame and the sway bar. I got this V-band just sitting on here right now. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do with this section. Off camera, we went ahead and welded up my Y pipe that I made, 3-inch Y, to the outlet side of the bellow. This is the inlet side. It looks pretty daggone good. And now what we're doing is we're cutting off the 90. The 90 that we're cutting off is gonna go on the outlet side of the SPP muffler. Make a long story short, I'm trying to get a bunch of pieces cut and kind of set up into place so that I can know what I want to do with this section here. We're ready to go ahead and start tacking up this driver's side muffler. I got that thing centered and I'm pretty satisfied with it. I got everything leveled like I want. I ended up having to take my hydraulic pipe expander and open up this side here to kind of close up all of these gaps. So I'm gonna tack this up and then we need to work on this side. I went ahead and completed the driver's side hanger setup. I had like 2 or 3 different things going on in my mind, so I wanted to go ahead and knock it out off camera. And now that I'm satisfied with it, let me show you what it looks like. What I ended up doing was removing that motor mount looking setup, and I used a piece of flat plate and I used some solid stainless rod. I bent it to shape. Make a long story short, I stabilized the front half. That's kind of to eliminate the tilting and rocking. And then also stabilized the back. We got full weld all the way around. And now all we got to do is mimic this side. It's all clean with acetone. I put the convolute wheel on it. Now we can install it and start bending our solid stock. All right, the way I figure out how to do my hangers, I take a piece of this aluminum rod. It's the thicker of the stuff that I have. And all I do is bend it to shape. And then I transfer this over to one of these rods. All right, tech tip of the day, easy way. This is what I kind of improvised on to hold this hanger rod in place. I use a zip tie. So I'm gonna go ahead and squeeze my big head up here, tack that, try to tack that, and then we'll probably duplicate the same thing we did on that side, which is basically bring a rod straight down and kind of curve it around this 90-degree 3-inch bend right here. I've already started welding the hangers to this 90-degree elbow. I haven't started on that side yet. I want to save that for last, but I kind of want to test my skills. This side here is hard to do with my right hand. I'm right-handed, so I think what I want to do is I want to try to hold the torch and feed it with my right hand. I don't know, I feel like I can do it, but there's only one way to test if I can do it, and I'm gonna record it. I'm gonna record it, and we're gonna see what it look like after I'm done. Oh, shit. Cool, that ain't that bad. That ain't that bad. That ain't too bad for a left hand. Yeah, not too bad. Left side, or excuse me, left hand, feeding with my right hand. And this is my right hand feeding with my left side. Hey, I'm proud of myself. Yeah, I'm proud of myself. Couple hours later, I had to go get these clamps from Harbor Freight. I missed the July 4th special. I needed these clamps to help with the distortion of welding this thick rod to this thin plate. When I welded this side, the flange kind of warped a little bit. I still got a warped section right there, but at the end of the day, when I bolt this thing down, it's good to go. But I want to take the extra steps to kind of limit the distortion on this. So what that's gonna mean is I'm gonna have to weld this, weld that. I might be able to let it cool down and move this clamp in a different location so that I can weld the back side, but we're gonna make it happen. I'm gonna go ahead and let that cool off, and I probably will install this later tonight. And also off camera, I drilled a hole and welded in the O2 bung. So that's right before the Y. It's the best spot I could find. All right, fam. Thank you for participating in this episode of Speedaddixxgarage. Thank you for attending this awesome video, and we'll catch you on the next video. Oh, you want to hear a sound clip? All right, well, let me throw the O2 sensor back in the bung because that's open, and let's fire it up as we move it out of the garage and hopefully bring in a new project.